Disillusion. Disappointment from discovering that one's beliefs are mistaken or disincentive unrealistic. Doldrums. A state of inactivity or depression. Dovetail. Fit together easily or conveniently. Dressy. Of clothes, suitable for a festive or formal occasion. Eardrum. The membrane of the middle ear, which vibrates in response to sound waves. Ecotourism. Tourism directed toward unspoiled natural environments and intended to support conservation efforts. Ellipsis. The omission of words from speech or writing. Emoticon. A representation of a facial expression such as a smile, formed with keyboard characters and used in email or texting to show the writer's feelings. Encyclical. A letter sent by the Pope to all bishops of the Roman Catholic Church. Endow. Provide a person or institution with an income or property, especially by a bequest in a will. Eschatology. The part of theology concerned with death, judgment, and destiny. Folksy. Traditional and homey, especially in an artificial way. Foramen. Anatomy and opening, hole, or passage, especially in a bone. Formica. Trademark, a hard plastic laminate used for countertops, cupboard doors, etc. Freemason. A member of an international order whose members help each other and hold secret ceremonies. Front page. Appearing on the first page of a newspaper or similar publication and containing important or remarkable news. Gardenia. A tree or shrub of warm climates, with large fragrant white or yellow flowers. Gazetteer. A list of place names published as a book or part of a book. Germanium. A shiny gray chemical element with semiconducting properties. Gild. Cover something thinly with gold. Gleeful. Very happy, especially in a gloating way. Goggle. Look with wide open eyes. Goldfinch. A gregarious finch with bright yellow plumage. Hold up. A cause of delay. Humdrum. Lacking excitement or variety, dull. Hunker. Squat or crouch down low. Icicle. A hanging, tapering piece of ice formed when dripping water freezes. Imager. An electronic or other device that records images. Impermeable. Not allowing fluid to pass through. Inborn. Existing from birth. Inductance. Physics, the property of an electric conductor or circuit that causes an electromotive force to be generated by a change in the current flowing. Infallibility. The quality of being infallible, the inability to be wrong. Inglorious. Causing shame, dishonorable. Japonica. An Asian shrub of the rose family, with bright red flowers. Jungian. Relating to the Swiss psychologist Carl Jung or his work. Kava. A Polynesian drink that causes drowsiness, made from the crushed roots of a plant of the pepper family. Crone. The basic unit of money of Denmark and Norway. Labyrinthine. Resembling a labyrinth. Laryngeal. Relating to the larynx. Leaguer. A member of a particular league, especially in sport. Leucine. A hydrophobic amino acid that is a constituent of most proteins and an essential nutrient in the diet of vertebrates. Lineal. In a direct line of descent or ancestry. Litigate. Take a dispute or claim to a court of law. Lubricate. Apply a substance such as oil or grease to machinery or part of the body to allow smooth movement. Macaque. A medium-sized monkey with a long face and cheek pouches for holding food. Madcap. Foolish or reckless. Malformation. A part of the body that is not formed correctly. Maquis. The Maquis, the French resistance movement during the German occupation of France in World War II. Metrical. Relating to or composed in poetic meter. Minder. A person employed to look after someone or something. Mooch. Ask for or obtain something without paying for it. Muss. Informal, make something untidy or messy. Neem. A tropical tree from which wood, oil, medicinal products, and insecticide are obtained. Oodles. Informal, a very great number or amount. Oversupply. An excessive supply of something. Overwrite. Write on top of other writing. Painterly. Relating to or like a painter, artistic. Patchouli. A scented oil obtained from a Southeast Asian shrub, used in perfumery, insecticides, and medicine. Pollinate. Carry pollen to a flower or plant and so fertilize it. Psalter. A copy of the Book of Psalms in the Bible. Quasar. A massive and extremely remote object in space that emits huge amounts of energy. Rainmaker. Informal, a person who generates income for a business by brokering deals or attracting clients or funds. Ramshackle. In a very bad condition. Rend. Literary, one, tear something to pieces. Rip-off. Informal, one, an article that is greatly overpriced. Sacrosanct. Regarded as too important or valuable to be changed or questioned. Sandbag. A bag of sand, used for protection against floods or explosions. Sated. Having had at least as much of something as you want. Scabies. A contagious skin disease marked by itching and small raised red spots, caused by a mite. Schadenfreude. Pleasure that someone gains from another person's misfortune. Shake-up. Informal, a major reorganization. Singe. Burn the surface of something lightly. Soundproof. Preventing sound getting in or out. Spacewalk. A period of activity by an astronaut outside a spacecraft. Spay. Sterilize a female animal by removing the ovaries. Sprig. A small stem bearing leaves or flowers, taken from a bush or plant. Suet. The hard white fat on the kidneys of cattle, sheep, and other animals, used as a shortening in pastry, etc., and as a food for wild birds. Supremo. Brit. Tallow. A hard substance made from animal fat, used, especially in the past, in making candles and soap. Tamoxifen. A synthetic drug used to treat breast cancer and infertility in women. Tarry. Literary stay longer than intended. Teeter. Move or balance unsteadily. Testis. An organ that produces sperm. Threadbare. Of cloth, clothing, etc., old, thin, and shabby. Trilateral. Shared by or involving three parties. Truant. A student who stays away from school without permission or explanation. Unblemished. Not damaged or marked in any way. Uncircumcised. Not circumcised. Underemployed. Not having enough work, or not having work that makes full use of one's abilities. Undertow. Another term for undercurrent. Verbiage. Excessively lengthy or technical speech or writing. Weakling. A weak person or animal. Windpipe. The air passage from the throat to the lungs, the trachea. Yurt. A circular tent of felt or skins used by nomads in Mongolia, Siberia, and Turkey. Afore. Before, previously. Afore. Old use or dialect before. Anticoagulant. A substance that prevents the blood from clotting. Arabica. A type of coffee bean widely grown in tropical Asia and Africa. Basilisk. A mythical reptile pitch in its family. Biopharmaceutical. A pharmaceutical substance, especially a protein or peptide, produced by biotechnology. Bitmap. The information used to control an image or display on a computer screen, in bit part which each item corresponds to one or more bits of information. Blooper. Informal and embarrassing mistake. Castilian. A person from the Spanish region of Castile. Centralize. Bring something under the control of a central authority. Cession. The formal giving up of rights, power, or territory by a country or state. Chadian. A person from Chad in Central Africa. Chippendale. Designed by or in the style of the English furniture maker Thomas Chippendale, 1718–79. Collate. Collect and combine documents or information. Commissariat. A military department for the supply of food and equipment. Consecrate. Make or declare something to be holy or sacred. Corticosteroid. Any of a group of steroid hormones produced by the cortex of the adrenal glands. Crier. An officer who makes public announcements in a court of law. Deviser. Mathematics, a number by which another number is to be divided. Dower. A widow's share for life of her husband's estate. Ductile. Able to be drawn out into a thin wire. Earthworm. A burrowing worm that lives in the soil. Eclampsia. Medicine, a condition in which a pregnant woman with high blood pressure experiences convulsions. Faun. Roman mythology, a lustful god of woods and fields, represented as a man with a goat's horns, ears, legs, and tail. Ficus. A tree, shrub, or plant of the fig family, especially a potted one. Fils. Used after a French surname to distinguish a son from a father of the same name. Flyweight. A weight in boxing and other sports intermediate between light flyweight and bantamweight. Glans. The rounded part forming the end of the penis or clitoris. Gullet. The passage by which food passes from the mouth to the stomach, the esophagus. Hake. A long-bodied edible fish with strong teeth. Hexadecimal. Computing relating to or using a system of numerical notation that has 16 rather than 10 as its base. Highbrow. Often derogatory, concerned with serious artistic or cultural ideas, intellectual or refined. Hillock. A small hill or mound. Homoerotic. Concerning or arousing sexual desire centered on a person of the same sex. Huguenot. A French Protestant of the 16th to 17th centuries. Hyperbaric. Relating to or involving a gas at a pressure greater than normal. Hyperlink. Computing a link from a hypertext document to another location, activated by clicking on a highlighted word or image. I had. Imbue. Fill with a feeling or quality. Ironworks. A place where iron is smelted or iron goods are made. Iter. 1/1000th of a liter. Junkie. Useless or of little value. Litigious. Having a tendency to take legal action to settle disputes. Masochism. The tendency to enjoy one's own pain or humiliation. Mohair. A yarn or fabric made from the hair of the Angora goat. Monarchist. Someone who believes a country should be ruled by a king or queen. Nestling. A bird that is too young to leave the nest. Oscillate. Move or swing back and forth in irregular rhythm. Outpace. Go, rise, or improve faster than someone or something else. Ovoid. Egg-shaped. Pastrami. Highly seasoned smoked beef. Pectin. A soluble jelly-like substance present in ripe fruits, used to set jams and jellies. Pilsner. A lager beer with a strong hop flavor, originally brewed at Pilsen, Pzev, in the Czech Republic. Plait. A single length of hair, rope, or other material made up of 3 or more interlaced strands. Plantagenet. A member of the English royal dynasty that ruled from 1154 until 1485. Portly. Especially of a man, rather fat. Pre-recorded. Recorded in advance. Recant. State that one no longer holds an opinion or belief. Redoubt. A temporary or additional fortification. Regimented. Organized according to a strict system. Rioja. A wine produced in La Rioja, Spain. Sanitize. Make something hygienic. Scrambler. A device for scrambling a broadcast transmission or telephone conversation. Scrivener. Historical, a person who made a living by writing out documents, a clerk or scribe. Sheepish. Feeling embarrassed from shame or shyness. Shindig. Informal one, a large, lively party. Signora. A title or form of address for an Italian-speaking married woman, corresponding to Mrs. or Madam. Sinusitis. Inflammation of a sinus that connects with the inside of the nose. Smorgasbord. A buffet offering a variety of meats, salads, hors d'oeuvres, etc. Squawk. Of a bird, make a loud, harsh noise. Supine. Lying face upward. Tannery. A place where animal hides are tanned. Technic. Technique. Temerity. Excessively confident or bold behavior. Tempera. A method of painting that uses powdered colors mixed with egg yolk. Tigress. A female tiger. Trappist. A monk belonging to a branch of the Cistercian order of monks who speak only in certain situations. Tremolo. A wavering effect in singing or created when playing some musical instruments. Trike. Informal, a tricycle. Unadorned. Not decorated, plain. Ungainly. Clumsy or awkward. Vesicle. A small fluid-filled sac or cyst in an animal or plant. Wispy. Consisting of or resembling a wisp or wisps, having thin strands. Worsted. Smooth and close-textured woolen fabric made from a fine yarn. X-ray. An electromagnetic wave of very short wavelength, able to pass through many materials opaque to light and so make it possible to see into or through them. Abet. USU. Acolyte. An assistant or follower. Airfoil. A curved structure, such as a wing, designed to give an aircraft lift in flight. Amputate. Cut off a limb in a surgical operation. Anhydrous. Chemistry containing no water. Asphyxia. A condition arising when the body is deprived of oxygen, causing unconsciousness or death. Aubergine. Chiefly Brit, term for eggplant. Awl. A small pointed tool used for piercing holes. Balustrade. A railing supported by balusters. breaded, coated with breadcrumbs and fried. Buccaneer. Historical a pirate, originally one operating in the Caribbean. Bungle. Perform a task clumsily or incompetently. Cachet. The state of being respected or admired, prestige. Cackle. Laugh in a noisy, harsh way. Calliope. Chiefly historical and American keyboard instrument resembling an organ but with the notes produced by steam whistles. Capoeira. A martial art and dance form originating among Angolan slaves in Brazil. Clairvoyance. The supposed ability of being able to see future events or to communicate with people who are dead or far away. Clinker. The stony remains from burned coal or from a furnace. Cloakroom. A room in a public building where outdoor clothes and bags may be left. Coenzyme. Biochemistry, a compound that is essential for the functioning of an enzyme. Colonnade. A row of evenly spaced columns supporting a roof or other structure. Colorway. Any of a range of combinations of colors in which something is available. Curbside. The side of a road or sidewalk that is nearer to the curb. Cutback. A reduction, especially in expenditure. Dentition. The arrangement or condition of the teeth in a particular species. Dermis. The thick layer of the skin below the epidermis, consisting of living tissue. Dowdy. Especially of a woman, unfashionable and dull in appearance. Effusion. A discharge of something, especially a liquid. Eggnog. A drink consisting of eggs, cream, and flavorings, often with alcohol. Elegiac. Relating to or characteristic of an elegy. Enliven. Make more interesting or appealing. Ennui. Listlessness and dissatisfaction arising from boredom. Farmyard. A yard or small area of land surrounded by or next to farm buildings. Filmography. A list of movies or television projects by one director or actor, or on one subject. Flaxseed. The seeds of the flax plant used as a nutritional supplement rich in omega-3 fatty acids, and, especially when called linseed, as the source of linseed oil. Foundling. A young child who has been abandoned by its parents and is found and cared for by others. Futurity. The future time. Fuse. Variant spelling of fuse. Fuzz-foes. Goober. Informal one, a dim-witted person, a yokel. Grudging. Given or allowed only reluctantly or resentfully. Hemophilia. A condition in which the ability of the blood to clot is reduced, causing severe bleeding from even a slight injury. Hobble. Walk awkwardly, typically because of pain. Honcho. Informal, a leader. Ibex. Ibexes, a wild mountain goat with long curved horns. Ideologue. A person who follows a system of ideas and principles in a strict and inflexible way. Inconsolable. not able to be comforted or consoled. Ineffable. Too great or extreme to be expressed in words. Infuriate. Make someone very irritated or angry. Invective. Strongly abusive or critical language. Jacobean. Relating to or characteristic of the reign of James I of England, 1603–1625. Noun, a person who lived in the Jacobean period. Jailbait. Informal, a young woman, or young women as a group, regarded as sexually attractive but under the legal age of consent. Knapsack. A small rucksack used by soldiers and hikers. Lanceolate. Technical, having a narrow oval shape tapering to a point at each end. Malarkey. Informal nonsense. Marsupial. A mammal, such as a kangaroo, whose young are born before they are fully developed and are carried and suckled in a pouch on the mother's belly. Merman. A mythical sea creature with the head and torso of a man and a fish's tail. Mete. Deal out justice, punishment, etc., to someone. Misaligned. Incorrectly aligned. Muscovite. A person from Moscow. Muskrat. A large North American rodent with a musky smell that lives partly in water and is valued for its fur. Mutable. Liable to change, changeable. Obit. Informal, an obituary. Optician. A person qualified to make and supply eyeglasses and contact lenses. Paean. A song of praise or triumph. Parsnip. A long tapering cream-colored root vegetable. Peal. A loud ringing of a bell or bells. Peduncle. Botany, the stalk carrying a flower or fruit. Polyphonic. Having many sounds or voices. Positivism. A system of philosophy recognizing only that which can be scientifically verified or logically proved. Presidium. A permanent decision-making committee within a political organization, especially a communist one. Punic. Relating to ancient Carthage. Rapturous. Feeling or expressing great pleasure or enthusiasm. Reinvigorate. Give new energy or strength to someone or something. Repurpose. Adapt something for use in a different purpose. Reroute. Send someone or something by or along a different route. Rickets. A disease of children caused by a lack of vitamin D, in which the bones become softened and distorted. Salutary. Of something unpleasant, beneficial because providing an opportunity to learn from experience. Scrapbooking. The activity or hobby of keeping a scrapbook. Seraph. A type of angel associated with light and purity. Serf. An agricultural laborer who was tied to working on a particular estate. Short-handed. Not having enough or the usual number of staff. Simile. A figure of speech in which one thing is compared to another of a different kind, e.g., our team was solid as a rock. Sitar. A large Indian lute with a long neck. Situate. Put in a particular place or context. Slushy. Resembling, consisting of, or covered with slush. Snowshoe. A flat device resembling a tennis racket, which is attached to the sole of a boot and used for walking on snow. Soundscape. A piece of music considered in terms of the different sounds of which it is composed. Stillbirth. The birth of a baby that has died in the uterus. Stratus. Cloud forming a continuous horizontal gray sheet, often with rain or snow. Sultana. A small light brown seedless raisin, a golden raisin. Sus. Chiefly Brit. Switchblade. A knife with a blade that springs out from the handle when a button is pressed. Teensy. Informal, very tiny. Topside. The upper part of a ship's side, above the waterline. Truism. A statement that is obviously true and says nothing new or interesting. Unchangeable. Not liable to change or able to be altered. Unforced. Produced naturally and 1426 ungainly without effort. Urethane. A synthetic crystalline compound used to make pesticides and fungicides. Vulgate. The main Latin version of the Bible, prepared in the 4th century and later revised 1471 vying and adopted as the official version for the Roman Catholic Church. Whiten. Make or become white. Yippee. Expressing excitement or delight. Zooplankton. Biology plankton consisting of small animals and the immature stages of larger animals. Acclamation. Loud and enthusiastic approval or praise. Afterword. A section at the end of a book. Ageism. Prejudice or discrimination on the grounds of a person's age. Atomizer. A device for sending out water, perfume, or other liquids as a fine spray. Beachhead. A defended position on a beach taken from the enemy by landing forces. Berm. A raised bank or flat strip of land on the edge of a river, canal, or road. Biogenesis. The synthesis of substances by living organisms. Bloodletting. Historical, the surgical removal of some of a patient's blood for medical purposes. Blowtorch. A portable device producing a very hot flame, used to burn paint off a surface. Bowl. A tree trunk. Botch. Informal, do something badly or carelessly. Burman. And adjective, another term for Burmese. Chafe. Make or become sore or worn by rubbing against something. Chummy. Friendly and sociable. Colostomy. A surgical operation in which the colon is shortened and the cut end diverted to an opening in the abdominal wall. Commercialize. Manage or exploit something in a way designed to make a profit. Conflate. Combine two or more things into one. Conservatoire. A college for the study of classical music. Corrode. With reference to metal or other hard material, wear or be worn away slowly by chemical action. Croak. A characteristic deep hoarse sound made by a frog or a crow. Cubism. An early 20th century style of painting in which objects are represented as being made up of geometric shapes. Cud. Partly digested food returned from the first stomach of cattle or similar animals to the mouth for further chewing. Defecate. Expel waste matter from the bowels. Deputation. A group of people who are appointed to act on behalf of a larger group. Deride. Express contempt for someone or something, ridicule. Dervish. A member of a Muslim, specifically Sufi, religious group vowed to poverty, some orders of which are known for their wild rituals. Diminution. A reduction in the size, extent, or importance of something. Downcast. Of a person's eyes, looking downward. Enumerate. Mention a number of things one by one. Equanimity. Calmness of temper, composure. Fangirl. See fanboy. Fibroblast. A cell in connective tissue that produces collagen and other fibers. Fief. Historical and estate of land held on condition of feudal service. Foment. Stir up trouble or violence. Frizz. Form into a mass of tight curls. Fungicide. A chemical that destroys fungus. Gawk. Stare in a stupid or rude way. Gendarmerie. The headquarters of a force of gendarmes. Geodesic. Referring to the shortest possible line between 2 points on a sphere or other curved surface. Geostationary. Orbiting in such a way that it appears to be stationary above a fixed point on the Earth's surface. Ginormous. Informal, very large. Gradation. A scale of successive changes, stages, or degrees. Hackneyed. Unoriginal and used too often. Heckle. Interrupt a public speaker with derisive comments or abuse. Historicity. Historical authenticity. Holdover. A person or thing surviving from an earlier time, especially someone surviving in office or remaining on a sports team. Honeydew. A sweet, sticky substance produced by aphids, small insects, feeding on the sap of plants. Honeypot. A place to which many people are attracted. Housewarming. A party celebrating a move to a new home. Hustings. The hustings, the political meetings and other campaigning that take place before an election. Inboard. An adjective within or toward the center of a ship, aircraft, or vehicle. Incumbency. The period during which an office is held. Inelastic. Not elastic. Inopportune. Happening at an inconvenient time. Ketosis. The condition of having raised levels of ketones in the body, associated with abnormal fat metabolism and diabetes mellitus. Labial. Chiefly anatomy and biology relating to the labia or lips. Leaden. Dull, heavy, or slow. Linseed. The seeds of the flax plant. Lithosphere. The rigid outer part of the earth, consisting of the crust and upper mantle. Loafer. A person who spends their time in an idle or aimless way. Markdown. A reduction in price. Marmot. A heavily built burrowing rodent. Mealy. Relating to or containing ground grain or seeds. Melamine. A hard, heat-resistant plastic used to coat surfaces. Menorah. A candelabrum used in Jewish worship, typically with 8 branches. Minibar. A refrigerator in a hotel room containing a selection of drinks. Missal. A book that contains the set forms of worship used in the Catholic Mass. Mouth-watering. Smelling or looking delicious. Multimillionaire. A person with assets worth several $1,000,000. Nanotube. Chemistry: a cylindrical molecule of a fullerene. Nightcap. A hot or alcoholic drink taken at bedtime. Oceanfront. The land that borders an ocean. Oscilloscope. A device for showing changes in electrical current as a display on the screen of a cathode ray tube. Otherness. The quality or fact of being different. Oxbridge. Chiefly Brit. Partway. Part of the way. Peaceable. Inclined to avoid conflict. Peeved. Informal, annoyed, irritated. Pogrom. An organized massacre of an ethnic group, originally that of Jews in Russia or Eastern Europe. Rasp. Make a harsh, grating sound. Repatriate. Send someone back to their own country. Rhizome. A horizontal underground plant stem bearing both roots and shoots. Ricin. A highly toxic protein obtained from the seeds of the castor oil plant. Roadrunner. A slender, fast-running bird of the cuckoo family, found chiefly in arid country from the southern U.S. to Central America. Saboteur. A person who sabotages something. Shapeshifter. An imaginary being who is able to change their physical form when they want to. Showgirl. An actress who sings and dances in a musical or variety show. Silkworm. A caterpillar that spins a silk cocoon from which silk fiber is obtained. Slaver. A person dealing in or owning slaves. Slaver. Let saliva run from the mouth. Spatter. Cover someone or something with drops or spots of a liquid or substance. Stopgap. A temporary solution or substitute. Sunblock. A cream or lotion for protecting the skin from sunburn. Synchrony. The state of operating or developing at the same time or rate as something else. Tenable. Able to be defended against attack or objection. Thalidomide. A drug formerly used as a sedative, but found to cause malformation of the fetus when taken in early pregnancy. Toluene. A liquid hydrocarbon resembling benzene, present in coal tar and petroleum. Trice. In a moment, very quickly. Triglyceride. A compound formed from glycerol and 3 fatty acid groups, e.g., the main constituents of natural fats and oils. Trinitarian. Relating to the Christian doctrine of the Trinity. Trudge. Walk slowly and with heavy steps. Tweedy. Of a garment, made of tweed cloth. Uncritical. Not willing to criticize or judge someone or something. Unfeeling. Unsympathetic, harsh, or callous. Unidirectional. Moving or operating in a single direction. Unmade. Not arranged tidily. Untainted. Not contaminated or tainted. Wain. Old use a wagon or cart. Wedgie. Informal one, a shoe with a wedged heel. Weekender. A person who spends weekends away from their main home. Wheeze. Breathe with a whistling or rattling sound in the chest, as a result of a blockage in the air passages. Whist. A card game in which points are scored according to the number of tricks won. Woozy. Informal, unsteady, dizzy, or dazed. Zinger. Informal one, a striking or amusing remark. Zit. Informal, a pimple on the skin. Aardvark. An African mammal with a tubular snout and a long tongue, feeding on ants and termites. Abyssal. Relating to the depths of the ocean. Achy. Suffering from an ache or aches. Airstream. A current of air. Angioplasty. A surgical operation to repair or unblock a blood vessel, especially an artery in the heart. Aphid. A green fly or similar small insect feeding on the sap of plants. Backhanded. Made with the back of the hand facing in the direction of movement. Backhoe. A mechanical digger with a bucket attached to a hinged pole. Baste. Pour fat or juices over meat during cooking. Beautician. A person whose job is to give beauty treatments. Beckon. Make a gesture to encourage or instruct someone to approach or follow. Beget. Literary one, cause. Bestial. Relating to or like an animal or beast. Betwixt. And adverbial use between. Biddy. Informal, an old woman. Bigamy. The crime of marrying someone while already married to another person. Blare. Sound loudly and harshly. Boondocks. Informal, rough or isolated country. Breathalyzer. Trademark, a device used by police for measuring the amount of alcohol in a driver's breath. Brio. energy or liveliness.